Oh, they're statues.
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
I threw eggs at them and black paint.
A little TP.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. That's why I forgot, yeah. No, I went out in the middle of the night, just a little jealous. I was a lot jealous.
His birth name is Giancarlo Esposito. Put your hands together.
Thank you, Crystal.
So glad to have you here.
Happy to be here, New Orleans.
Have you had a busy weekend?
It's been a good weekend. Yeah, a lot of great fans. You know, the people in New Orleans are really resilient and really lovely people. And I was here about a year ago shooting a show called Parish and really fell in love with the city even more. So it's always nice to come back.
And the food here.
Food's the best ever.
Fantastic.
Yes, indeed.
I went to a fancy restaurant last night. I had the best crab of my life. The best.
Where'd you go?
Nobu.
Nobu.
Yeah.
Wow.
I decided to treat myself.
Good for you.
I feel like in life you should do that sometimes.
You should do that.
You should appreciate and be, you know, and just for yourself, like celebrate yourself.
Very important to take care of yourself.
It is. Now, I have a few questions for you before I do a little game with you, and then we'll throw it to the audience for a Q&A.
Okay, we got it.
All right. So you strike fear into the hearts of many, but are you intimidated or scared of anything or anyone?
Well, that's an interesting question. You know, I grew up, after I came from Italy, I grew up struggling and kind of poor, and I decided at a young age not to live in fear of anything. And I realized that the only healthy fear to have is if your life is in danger. And I realized also that my brain made up things that would have me be in fear of. And I think I realized also that I was afraid of myself. So when you first said you intimidate many people, I think I intimidate myself.
Are you your own worst critic?
I think I am. I think many of us are our own worst critics, and we make up scenarios about ourselves that aren't really true. Because if you talk to people who are close to you and friends of yours and who see you from a different angle, they see you differently. But we create a story, our own story, his story, her story, surrounding what our brain thinks of ourselves. And so if you raise your energetic level to a place where you realize that you are original, that you are one of a kind, that you are a contributor, that you can do anything you put your mind and your heart to with commitment and dedication, then you start to realize that the world is open to you and there's nothing that you can't do.
Such a fabulous answer.
I mean, I only speak from personal experience because I had to get over myself and start to think of myself as a contributor and start to apply the gifts I had been given to the greatest extent to realize without my ego that I have something to offer. But that takes building of your confidence. And so if you don't have confidence, you have to start to build it in building blocks, which is why it's great to start with, wow, look at that beautiful sweater. Start with what works.
Thank you.
You know, when we lift each other up with true compliments, you have beautiful eyes, if it's really true. We're afraid to say that to each other, but that allows us to share our own personal confidence with others, and then we grow together.
I love to walk up to someone when I see something and I go, I love your shoes. Because it is genuine, it's coming from my heart, and I'm sure that person, like, it's so special to them to hear it and go, oh, these shoes? I didn't think anybody would like them. And for you to comment that, you know, and I don't know how that's affecting them, but I always hope it's uplifting.
Absolutely, those little things are very important. Because when you're on the opposite end of that and someone gives you a compliment, they're complimenting not just your shoes, but your taste.
Yes.
you know, your just choice to get them, the color that you chose, what works for you. It's a beautiful thing to share that, because little do you know how much that can uplift someone in their day.
For sure. Oh, I heard a clap, so I was going to let it go. I was going to let it go. Since you do intimidate a lot of people, if you don't know what a parasocial relationship is, when people watch you on screen and then they develop a relationship with you and your character and not necessarily you as a person, do you ever have anybody walk up to you and be mad at you for what Gus did? And be like, how could you have said that? Or done that? Have you ever had any interactions like that?
I've had many. I did a play many years ago, maybe 40 years ago, called Zoo Man and the Sign at the Negro Ensemble Company. And I played a street kid who was gunning for a rival gang leader, and he accidentally shoots a little girl. And the play was written by Charles Fuller, a Pulitzer Prize winner. And I remember coming off stage one night, and they said, you can't come out yet. I said, why? There's a social worker in the lobby who works with kids just like you. I went, kids just like my character? They said yes. And she wants to kill you. Because she's really, really, really moved by the show, and she's taken it for reality. So this happens to me all the time. People do develop a relationship with my characters that I play that they see on screen in television or movies. And so many think that that's me. And I understand that. So people in general are afraid to approach me because they think that I'm carrying the same attitude, and sometimes I am.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
We all have our moments.
That I'm carrying in the TV show. And they're surprised. A lady came up to me yesterday, really lovely, with her son, and she said to me, wow, it's so nice to see you smile, because we never see you smile. And I said, yeah, it's nice to smile.
Yeah.
But, you know, so actors, we don't always walk around as our character. And because I play so many, and many of them are intense human beings, and I understand how that intensity can grow inside me. And many people haven't seen me play good guys, and I have. There are many, you know, good characters I played, but I do understand it. So basically what I'm talking about is the human nature of relationships that we create, not only with each other through what we see, but with our own world and how we see the world. And so those relationships get created in your own mind and being, because if you're dealing with a show that's really good and an actor who's really good, you believe it, and you're supposed to believe it. But it blurs the line between reality, what's really real, and what entertainment is. And it also shifts your idea, collectively and individually, about how you see the world. If you see the world as doom and gloom coming to an end, or if you see the world as being hopeful, if you see yourself in that world as being a part of a greater change that can happen, which the change has to happen in your life first, and then the change can happen in the world, then you see hope. So it's half empty or half full is the glass. Which do you choose?
Yes.
And that's a conscious choice that we have to make as human beings to save not only our society and our planet, but our world. And it's important that we start to think in a positive way, as opposed to starting with a negative attitude about how hard the day is going to be. I met you 3 minutes ago, and you said, I'm just happy to be alive. And I wouldn't know the difference if I wasn't. And I'm going to use that because it's so good. Would you know the difference? Well, you know how you know the difference? You know the difference because it reflects how you feel, your energetic posture and level that you deal with in your life with yourself, taking your own temperature, knowing when you're up or when you're down, and knowing when you have to shift your consciousness because I'm a little low, but I choose, there's the operative word, I choose to be happy, and I choose to be the best I can be today, given any circumstance.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Can you tell me another risk you almost didn't take and how it impacted you very positively in your life?
Yeah, you know, look, it was Breaking Bad, and I had done 2 guest spots, and I got off the plane to come home. By the time I got home, they were calling me to sign a contract for the next season and tie me up, and I said no. I said, you know, if I tie up with you, you have 4 or 5 months before you go back, and I don't want to have to ask if I can go do something else. So why don't you guys, if you still want me when you're planning to be back in the writer's room in 6 months, then offer me a contract then. And I think they thought I was crazy. I said, look, I love your show. I love what I've done. And when you come back, just call me and we'll figure it out then. So it's a risk I took and worked in between. I would have been able to work anyway. But it's also, I wanted to make sure that they were really, truly committed and that I have the opportunity to discuss it with Vince, and the rest is history. Of course, they called me again, and I said yes, and I went through and did it. And I'm happy I did, because it changed the course of my career.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Hi, my name's Raymond. I have a question from my brother back home. He's wondering if you've ever gotten or taken any souvenirs from whenever you've been filming, specifically like Star Wars sets or anything like that.
Star Wars, we had the Star Wars police. We had the Mandalorian police.
You touch something, you're like, beep, 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 beep.
No, you couldn't even. There were no phones allowed on the set to take pictures of this beautiful volume. A volume is a room with cameras all over the ceiling and all over the walls to shoot you, and they reflected back the atmosphere. So there was nothing in the room but you and pictures on the wall and the ceiling, and they could, trace the ship around the room, and you can see things coming and going. Breaking Bad, I think I took a Los Pollos Hermanos plastic cup. I always wanted a Los Pollos Hermanos tray. I was not able to get one until I was at a Comic-Con, and someone had two, and they gave me one. I didn't even get an apron. I think I got a Los Pollos Hermanos pen. So normally I like one thing that's small. Kaleidoscope that I did for Netflix, I got the little knife that Leo used to cut himself free in the Blue episode. So sometimes the prop guy will give me something and I'll have a little something to take away, but I don't look for that. But it's always nice to have a little memento.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name's Dustin. This is a very simple, small question, but I just gotta know. Were you a little bit jealous hearing that Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul were getting those statues of them put up in Albuquerque?
Wait, was I a little jealous of Bryan Cranston when
When they put up those statues of Walter White and Jesse Pinkman, were you a little bit jealous that they didn't put one up of you?
Wait, sashes?
A
Statues.
A statue.
Oh, statues.
Yeah.
Oh, they're statues.
Yeah, you didn't know about that?
I threw eggs at them and black paint.
A little TP.
Yeah, they don't exist anymore. That's why I forgot, yeah. No, I went out in the middle of the night, just a little jealous. I was a lot jealous. I mean, come on, guys. It's okay, I'll have my day.
That's right. Thank you.
My name is Lay, and of course we know in Breaking Bad that Gus had the iconic death scene. And I saw where Vince said that it took 19 takes in order to accomplish the shot that he wanted for that. So I was wondering, first of all, how long did that take time-wise? But more importantly, how did you keep yourself motivated to repeat that over and over for 19 takes, with the final one being the one that was chosen?
It was a difficult moment in time because well, first of all, it's a process of doing it and erasing it, doing it and erasing it, as if it never happened, right? So I have to do that a lot as an actor when you have to do take after take after take, and you have to go from one place to another. I do it with full commitment, and then I walk around for a second, take a deep breath, and go, it never happened, and I start over again. That particular moment was difficult because in getting it in close-up wasn't the hard thing. The hard thing was being able to get the wide shot that Vince wanted and the reveal, the swivel of the camera to know that when I came out of the room that I was missing half my face. He didn't want that scene until another moment. And then there was another problem with the orderlies down the hall who were coming down the hall who were shocked when they saw what I looked like. And Vince wanted that in a certain position, but it wasn't working because of their performance. So he came to me and he said, "What do I do?" And and I said, "Okay." I said, and I had the answer. I said, "Don't have them come all the way down the hall, because once they get into the frame with me, closer to me, you're seeing what's bothering you is you're seeing that they don't know how to act. So just have them be further away. And then you can always have the option of using a different cut and just hearing their voices. And Vince was like, wow, you know. And so it all worked out. But it was a great moment, and he was able to capture it the way he wanted. Initially, though, he had to have me come out the door, and he wanted the camera in front of me, but he couldn't be in front of me, really. He had to be at an angle so you could only see one side of my face. And then he had to move the camera over slowly, very slowly, to see that, oh my God, he's missing half his face. So once we figured that out, and the extras in the hall, the orderlies who came out and screamed, and the sirens go, all these noises are happening, it worked out really smoothly.
All right, thank you.
Now I have to know, since you're going to the airport, are you an early bird or are you somebody who just walks right on the plane?
Oh, you mean in getting to the plane?
Yeah.
I like to just walk on the plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't like to go and sit. It's hard for me to sit at airports now. I get a lot of attention.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
Yeah, so like to hide in the closet or the bathroom till I have to shoot on. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us here this afternoon.
Been a pleasure.
It's been fabulous.
Been a pleasure.
Give it up, Giancarlo
Thank you, Nola.
Esposito.
We love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.